Good afternoon and welcome back to this series of how to answer comprehension tests. And as you can see, this is part 2, and this one specifically is called responding to contextual questions, which is just a very fancy way of saying answering questions out of a text. So in case you're wondering, that's who I am, and so that you can read it in full, I'm going to, no, I'll leave it as that. Right, let us continue, and we're going on to now how to study a complex question. Now, please note, some questions are very simple. You don't need to study them. They are perfectly straightforward, and however, some questions, of course, have a level of complexity, and at that point, you have to study them to be able to understand them fully. Now, you see here, I've put there, read the questions carefully. That is important, of course, but how do you read them carefully? Here is the method. There we go. First one, point 1. You look for instructions that limit the scope of your answer, and I've given you an example there. If you can say refer to paragraph 4 or refer to lines 25 to 29 or something like that. But when you get that instruction, it means that your answer has to come out of that particular reference. Now the second one, the task words. Don't worry about this fancy word, task words. It's also, some people call them question words. Other people call them instruction words. It's just the active word in the question. I'm going to look at a list of these with you in our next slide. All right, so you identify that task word. Okay, and then of course you read the content words. Basically what that means is, now that you've got your booby traps out of the way, now you look at the rest of the question. It's a simple process to follow, and I recommend it very highly because you are going to eliminate the problem that you have if you don't really understand what a question is asking. This is very common. I've seen many cases where people will definitely have read through the text. We can see that in the answers. They do know what's going on in the text, but they failed to study the question correctly, and they lose marks on that. Now let's carry on and take a look at these task words or question words. There we are. And here's the most famous of them all, why? Okay, and there's the explanation. You're looking for the reason for something. Then you've got what, and there which thing or factor is involved. When is a complicated one because the answer can be so varied. There I've given you a whole list of potential methods of answering a when question. And then of course where also can be very complex because you've got all these prepositions there that are indicating how the object or how the event took place. Is it in a classroom? Is it on a table? Just some examples there. So those prepositions must be included in your answer. Then you have who. When you see the question who, of course, remember that always refers to people, humans. Okay? Who, in your answer, you will always have to put one or more human beings. And of course, how, you see there, it's looking for the method. And we go to our other column on this side. Oh, this was one that I love. List, write down all the things. It's fabulous because it's a very easy question to answer, and usually most people get full marks. Explain, of course, that's giving reasons. Similar in a way to the task word why, but not fully. They do vary slightly. Okay, compare. This is an interesting one. When you're comparing two things, you have to ask in what way are they different and in what way are they the same. Right, so that's a two-part question, so to speak. Okay, identify. You're picking out a person, a thing, whatever. There's lots of things that you can identify. And here you have justify or substantiate. They're exactly the same word. And that is where you are giving a reason for your answer. If you remember in yesterday's presentation, we actually pointed out that without substantiation, if you've got an agree or disagree answer, you're not going to get any marks. You must justify or substantiate your response. And here you've got one of the most famous instruction words of them all, discuss, and it's investigate this by reasoning or argument, right? There's your main question words, which you're going to be, or task words, which you're going to be encountering for the next few years. Now let's go to examples of questions. This is quite important. The first question there, this was taken from an ancient exam that I did when I was very young, and it was considered a joke. Why did the chicken cross the road? Okay, and now let's analyze this quickly. The first thing we're going to look for, are there any limiting instructions? And the answer is no. It's a straightforward question, right? However, we now look, what is the task word? And then you see the task word is why, right? So you need to provide a reason. Just the little comment there, okay? And then the content words, chicken crossed road. Now, this is a very complicated way of analyzing what is actually quite a straightforward question, but it's a good example, so we'll start with this one, all right? And if you want to know why did the chicken cross the road, it's very simple. It was wanting to get to the other side. Now, this is making things a little bit trickier. So this one, we are going to have to analyze in a little bit of depth. Okay, and the question reads, in your own words, compare chickens to guinea fowl. Okay, I think they're both delicious, but guinea fowl is deliciouser. Right, let's take a look. Limiting instructions, and there you see it, own words. What does that mean? Essentially, you can't copy from the text. That's it. Simple as that. So then we go on to the task word, and we've got this magical word compare. And we know that compare means differences or similarities. How are they different? How are they the same? And then chickens, guinea fowl. Those are your content words. You're comparing the chickens to the guinea fowl. Easy, easy, easy. And once you've analyzed that, go ahead and you can answer. Let's take another one. Also examples of questions, and we've got here, refer to paragraph 3, and it says list the main causes of the accident. That is a fairly tangled question. First, we have that limiting instruction, refer to paragraph 3. Okay, and then you have the task word, which is list. And that should be fairly easy. You also have 3 factors. How do you know it's 3 factors? It's because the question is out of 3 marks. And if you're asked to make a list for 3 marks, you're going to include 3 points in the list. Then we go on to the content words and its causes of accident. Actually, I'm a bit careless there. It specifically says the main causes of the accident. But, well, I think you get the idea. And that's fairly straightforward. Right, we'll take one last question. Please take a look at this. And here you have, what color was Andrew's shirt? And how are we going to analyze this question? Well, the answer is simple one-word answer, doesn't need to be analyzed. There's really no point to analyzing something that is that basic. That is not a complex question. You only have to analyze the complex ones. There we are. And now I've got another treat for you. Please take a look at this. You've got this simple task. Enjoy.